Betsy Makes on social media such as Instagram, Facebook, Ravelry. My Etsy shop's called Betsy Makes as well. Can't think of any more. I'm Sewing Mistress 2 on Twitter, although I'm definitely most active on Instagram. And this is my podcast about my knitting and my crochet and my sewing as well. So thanks for joining me. This week I'm not going to talk about my Etsy shop stuff because my previous podcast that I filmed the other day was complete shop talk. So today I'm just going to concentrate on my personal projects that I want to share with you. But I will just say one thing in regards to my Etsy shop. Thank you very much to everyone who purchased from me on my last update. I really appreciate it and I don't take it for granted one little bit. I love packing up your parcels and sending them all over the world. So thank you very much for buying from me and supporting me. And just to say that that was my last main update before Christmas, but I will be adding bits and pieces here and there. So if you fancy popping by, you can find me as www.betsymakes.co.uk or search Betsy Makes on Etsy and you'll be able to find me. But as I said, that's all I'm going to say in regards to shop talk today. And I'm going to share with you some incoming goodies, some finished items, some finished projects, and also a couple of works in progress. So I'll start with some incoming goodies. Gosh, when was it? I can't remember now the exact date, but myself and my friend Sandra, who's Cherry Heart, we went up to Westminster in London to go to the Yarnporium Yarn Festival, and it was a perfect day actually. I went to pick her up and then we parked at the train station, caught a train and a tube. There was a few tube issues, they'd shut a few lines, so we had to navigate our way there, but it wasn't too difficult. Sandra's good at finding a route, and we went up to Westminster and where the yarn festival was being held, and it was a really nice yarn festival, lots of really good vendors there. There was quite a lot of space to move around, so it didn't feel too hectic or too manic, apart from some of the stalls were quite small, so if there was 3 or 4 people in there already looking at bits and pieces, you didn't feel there was enough room to get in and have a look, so you needed to wait until they'd finished looking and then you could take a peek at all that was on offer. And we had a lovely day. It's always lovely spending time with Sandra anyway, in the midst of all that wool and yarn and lovely things like that. So I will show you my haul, what I got. My first purchase was these two 50-gram skeins. I will apologise about the lighting. It's Sunday afternoon and I'm filming a bit later than I had planned to do. So being winter time, almost winter time here in the UK, it's getting a bit dark. So I have got the light on, as you can see behind me, and I do hope that you'll be able to pick up the colours properly as I show you them. So yeah, so I've got these two gorgeous raspberry coloured 50-gram skeins. They are Garth & Orr, an organic, 100% organic wool, Press Sealy. As you can see, I've got the barber pole one there, which is lovely, and then the solid colour to go with it. And it was the barber pole one actually that is what really appealed to me. I fancy making something with this yarn, the way it's spun, the raspberry colour with the natural colour. I just think it looks so nice. Yeah, so 4-ply fingering weight, 50 grams. It's actually 60% organic Polworth and 40% organic Romney. And this one is raspberry and this one is Sweeney. So yeah, so very pleased with those two. The idea I have for them, I think, is mitts. I'll probably make some mittens in this, so I'm looking forward to trying that out. It's got a lovely woolly texture, which is really lovely. So I've got those, and I was looking for double knit yarn. Actually, don't have a lot of hand dyed double knit, so I thought I'd see what I could find in regards to that. So I saw these 3 colours on River Knits. Let me get them the right way up. There we go. So lovely sort of dark chartreuse. Again, a pinky raspberry colour, and then the tonal in the middle, which is pinks and chartreuse in there, which brings it all together. Love, love, love these colours. So these were all dyed on a narrow boat, and I've got it in my head that River Knits is based in Northamptonshire. I hope I'm right, I'm not certain, but that I've got a feeling they're in Northampton and they live and die from their narrow boat. So this is 100% British Blueface Leicester superwash wool. 100 grams is 2 to 5 meters, being a double knit weight. Now this colour is Eve's birthday. This colour is a Bendrot and Ernst Dank. So apart from Eve's birthday, I probably have pronounced these other 2 wrong. You'll be able to see. I'm very pleased with this little set. I think I'm going to crochet a shawl, or maybe knit a shawl, I'm not sure. And I just fancied some double knit to do something, or even a scarf. I just think they work really well together, these 3 colours. So I'm very happy with those. Put them on the floor actually, that's okay. I haven't got a lot of table space here. We visited Faye of the Crochet Circle, and I purchased this beautiful project bag, a lovely denim with the machine embroidery on there, the flowers. There's a little bee on there. Bless her, she's very kind. She did give us a bit of a discount. So that's a lovely, lovely, I think this is more of a linen than a denim actually, come to think of it. I mean, it's denim colour. I think it's more of a linen. I wonder if it says on there. It says made in Cheshire by Martine. So yeah, oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's really pretty. Love that. I also purchased these little snips. I'd forgotten about these actually. Stalklets. So they're kind of cute, aren't they? Little tiny little scissors. I'm sure they're very sharp. I might even take them out of the bag to show you. Got to do the thing with my hand. So they're really sweet, a lovely jadey green colour. You probably can see them better in the packet, can't you? So they're really nice. And that was all I got from the actual festival itself, but on the way back to the tube station we did stop off at the village haberdashery, which is a small shop near the tube station that we're using, and which I can't remember which one it was. Can't remember. North London somewhere anyway. And I picked up these crochet threads because I just thought lovely colours, the pink, white and green. They're kind of alternative Christmas colours to me. Again, it's that jadey green, which is the same colour as the snips, isn't it? Yeah. It's quite fine crochet thread, actually, very fine. But I just thought the colours were really nice. Not sure what I've got planned for them, but I just think they're really pretty. So that's not quite everything for my incoming goodies, but the next thing I'm going to show you comes with its own finished item. So, which I don't think I've shown you at all before, because I hadn't started making them last time I recorded a podcast about my personal project. So not the last one, but one before that. But I did show you the yarn because it was a gift from Ali, who is Little Drops of Wonderful. That's her podcast name. And Starry Eyes Ali is her Instagram username. And she did gift me some minis from, oh, I've dropped one, there it is. Sorry to keep leaning over. Oh, dropped it again. Honestly, I'm so clumsy. I must be the clumsiest person in the world. In actual fact, talking about being clumsy, I was at work yesterday. I was working in our Biggleswade office, and I was seeing the bride and groom into the ceremony room, which is full of all their guests, all their friends and family, and my colleague was at the front waiting for them to make their entrance so that she could start to perform the ceremony. And I see them into the room and close the door, and then I run round the other side to come into the same room, the ceremony room, to do the registration. As it happened, I was training someone, so they were already at the desk to do the registration, but nevertheless I still saw the bride and groom in. And they'd got a few belongings with them, and they asked, rather than carry them as they walk up the aisle, they asked me to take them in. It was two big umbrellas and a canvas bag with some bits and pieces in. So as I entered the room, bearing in mind, you know, it's full of the guests or the friends and family, and the bride and groom had reached the front at the point I came through the door and tripped over the big umbrellas that I was carrying clumsily, and I tried to put them down, kind of dropped them, stumbled in front of everyone. So that's just me all over. That's, you know, what I'm like. I'm so clumsy. I apologised to the bride and groom at the end of the ceremony. I said, I do apologise about my entrance into the room. They said, oh no, that's fine. We like a bit of comedy in our ceremony. Anyway. Right, so on to my finished item. Let's make them a pair, shall we? There we are. So yeah, two things to talk about here. First, an incoming goodie of my mitt blockers from Alex Workshop Designs on Etsy. And so yeah, Alex Workshop Designs on Etsy, but the username is the Loom Master, and these come all the way from the Ukraine, and they're beautifully carved mitten blockers. If I pull down the mitts, you can see we've got the heart shapes in there and a little hole there to hang them up. The thumb is actually, is detachable. It is joined onto the rest of the hand with a ribbon, but I like to have it on there. So yeah, so these are perfect for blocking and displaying some mitts. So as I said, the yarn that Ali gifted me, which is from the 3 minis, were from Back to Blighty, and the colours are a taste of autumn. And I think Ali thought of me when she saw these colours, because she knows how much I love autumn, and that's my favourite season. So I decided to knit some mitts. So I've got a twisted rib there, 1x1 twisted rib, and then I've striped these two colours, 5 rounds or rows of each colour, and then just repeat the twisted rib for a little bit at the top of the thumb and the mitt. I've not used a pattern for this, I've made it up as I've gone along. I've got an idea for a mitt design in my head, and I just wanted to knit a basic shape before I started adding the pattern, the stitch pattern that I've got in mind. And I thought this would be a good opportunity. I think I'll put one on actually, because I'll also be able to show you that's how the blockers are. That's how they come. Like I say, the thumb is separate. And both on, shall I did think they look quite Harry Potter-esque. So Team Gryffindor mitts, I've called them. The colours are very Gryffindor, aren't they? I quite like the shape of these, although I don't feel that my thumb gusset is big enough or deep enough. So I'm going to tweak what I did to make that slightly deeper there. I mean, they fit fine actually, they're okay. But I just think that they'd be better with a slightly deeper gusset. So I do intend to write up the pattern eventually, probably in the new year, I think. But in the meantime, I'm very happy with this little pair of mitts. And yeah, now I've got almost the basic shape down, I will do another pair with a stitch pattern, probably in just plain one colour. But, well, actually, come to think of it, this would work well, wouldn't they? In this type of thing, with that as the contrast cuff ribbon bit and then that as the main mitt, that would be really nice. So yeah, I used a 2.5mm circular needle to make these. I use the magic loop method. When I make socks, when I knit socks, I tend to use a 2.25 to get a nice tight gauge or tightish gauge. For mitts, I was quite happy to go up to a 2.5, slightly bigger needle. And yeah, really quite happy with the gauge on there. So whilst they're done, they're completed, they're still a bit of a work in progress, in the sense that I'm still working on writing the pattern out for a future design. But my next finished object is my Linden Bee shawl. Well, I've used the pattern, the Linden Bee shawl by Sandra Cherryheart, Sandra Paul. And I think I call this my 80s scarf because of the colours. So as you can see, it's a triangle shaped crochet scarf. Lovely stitch pattern. And it's got gorgeous tassels, of course. See those? I've used all the colour yarn. It's a singles yarn by Martin's Lab. I had a 100g skein of this colour, which I think is called Prince Charming, and then I bought a pack of minis for the bright colours. That goes really well. I'm really pleased with this. It looks quite nice with this dress actually. Oh yeah. Yes, very happy with this. Feels lovely. I think the singles yarn gives it a different texture, and I like that. I like the texture it gives. So yeah, that was quite quick actually, didn't take too long to make. When something that's quick to do, it is very tempting to make another one in a different colour, because you know that it's not going to be too much of a time commitment, and it's very enjoyable to crochet, very enjoyable. It's got a nice, let me show you the border, I really like the border. It's small and sweet, I think, a small and sweet border. But yeah, so the pattern is, I'll show you the pattern actually, it's the Linden Bee Shawl by Sandra Paul, which she's Cherry Heart. That's her one. And I called it my 80s shawl. And that's the name I've given it on the Ravelry project page, which you are more than welcome to go and check out if you want any further details about any of my knitting or crochet projects. I did try and keep it quite up to date, but if there's something you really need to know about and it's not on there, obviously you can email me at betsymakes@gmail.com or message me through Ravelry as well, you can do that. Okay, another finished object is my Chunky Knit sweater. I was going to wear this, but it's very thick and warm, which is a good thing, but it's quite mild today. It's getting darker by the minute. And I've been busy doing housework most of the day and sort of a bit hot and bothered, so I thought, no, I can't put it on, it'll be too warm. So, but here it is. Lovely, bright coloured, big, oversized sweater. Knitted sweater. Do you know, I really love this. I want it to be cold enough to wear. So pattern wise, it's the Easy Bulky one by Hoki Locatelli, and I've used a thicker weight yarn that's recommended in the pattern, so I had to do some mathematics to get my measurements. I explained that in detail in not my previous podcast but the one before, so perhaps watch that if you need to know. I think I've made notes on it on my Ravelry project page as well. Yeah, I had to, so because I knew it was going to come out bigger, I made a smaller size. That's it in a nutshell, but if you want to know a bit more detail, like I say, you can I go into more specific explanation on the previous podcast. The yarn I've used is it's from Hobbycraft, and it's the Women's Institute yarn, soft and chunky. I've got mustard grey, and this one, the official name is Neon Coral. I like to call it highlighter pink. And can you see the little label I've got there? So if you can see, it says Betsy Makes, little label. And they're from JS Lasercraft on Etsy, and obviously they're personalised, so you can get them to make labels with anything really. I just thought it looks so nice. It's such a good finishing touch to the project, to the garment. It makes it look very professional actually. But oh yeah, I really love this jumper. I am looking forward to wearing it. The trouble is, when I've made something and I know I want to show it on the podcast, I tend to fold it up and leave it in the podcast pile, and then, you know, then I'm not wearing it because I don't want to until I've shown you. But like I say, it's been fairly mild here, and I haven't felt the need to put a big cozy jumper on because it hasn't really been that cold. Delighted with that. Really quick to make as well. This is another one actually. I'm repeating myself a bit, but another one where I definitely want to make it again because it is quick. Particularly in that yarn, it's such a chunky yarn that it knits up so quickly. I used 8mm needles to knit that. So that's where I am with my finished items and my incoming goodies. So next thing I want to show you is my works in progress. So I'm just going to go and get a quick drink and I'll be back shortly. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so what I'd like to share with you now is my works in progress. I think I'll talk about my Strictly socks first of all. My lovely drawstring bag from Podrigan Handmade, which is lovely. Sharon has a shop in Bedford, which is the town where I live. I've still yet to visit her there, but I do want to. Anyway, the socks I'm making are the Cha Cha Chevron socks by Sandra again. She's such a brilliant designer. There's, you know, she comes up with some lovely designs. So they have their chevron pattern on there. I'm making these for Sophie. I've got Sophie's foot in cardboard. Sophie's my eldest daughter, so I've got her size 7 foot in cardboard. The yarn I'm using is Jinx yarn. Oh, somebody left a comment actually to say that Jinx yarn is no longer, which is a shame. I don't know the story why she's not dyeing the yarn anymore. But Sophie did buy this for me when she was over in the US. So that's the yarn. I mean, this is dark anyway, and particularly today with the light as it is, I do hope you can see things okay. So I am knitting them both at the same time. You really can't see that against my dress, can you? It's just right, bear with me. Let's get this on. So one of them I've just done the heel and I need to pick up the stitches to do the decreases on the foot, and the other one I've just got, I think, one more pattern repeat to do. I think it's one more pattern repeat to do on the foot, and then I'll knit the toe and Kitchener stitch the stitches at the end, and that'll be that one done. Tell you what I might do, if you don't mind me reaching across again. I ordered some of these sock blockers from Loop. I really fancied having some of these because, you know, when I do wear my knitted socks quite a lot, and when I wash them, it's nice to dry them on blockers. Just makes them nice and neat, I think. So I have got a few pairs now, but they do come in handy. They're very useful, like I say, when I've washed my socks. So what's the chances you're going to see this? I don't know. Well, you might be actually. You might be able to. It's focusing on my face. If I go behind it, you see, you can't see it because of my dress, my dark colour dress. So anyway, let's hope you can see these okay. I've got a bit of an idea. I don't know. Welcome to the world of Betsy Makes. Don't expect perfection. Just go with the flow and feel the love. There we go. Anyway, so as you can see, I think Sophie's foot is probably a bit bigger than these. These are probably more my size. I'm a UK size 5 and she's a UK size 7. A size 5 is, I know it's a 38 in the European sizes. But these are going really well. Really, really love them. All part of Ali, Little Drops of Wonderful's Strictly Sock Along. I haven't watched Strictly Come Dancing for the last, I didn't watch it last night or last Saturday because my youngest daughter, little Lena Jane, is her dance school is putting a big production on, and last Saturday we had a full day of dress rehearsal and tech run, which was necessary obviously to put the show on. It was quite a long day. We didn't get back till about 8:30 on Saturday evening, which was really late for her. And then last night I went to see the show. She did a lunchtime performance and also an evening performance. Obviously her, as well as lots of other little girls and a couple of little boys that are in the dance show, and it's really good. It was fantastic. It's such a good production. And she's doing the matinee show today, which is where everyone is now. It's a rare time for me because I've got the house to myself. I can't believe it. But my mother-in-law's watching the show today, so it made sense that she took my little girl, and we'll bring her back later. So why did I mention that? Oh yes, because it means I haven't watched Strictly for the last 2 episodes. I watched the results show last Sunday, and I will watch the results show again this evening. I'm also really enjoying Doctor Who at the moment. Yeah, the new female Doctor's very good. I like her. Bradley Walsh and Lee Mack in the same programme. Fantastic. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying the new Doctor Who. Anyway, whether you can see these dark socks, who knows? It looks very dark to me. You might be able to see it a bit better if I hold it there. This might be one of those things where I have to insert a photo during the editing process. I'll have a look what it looks like. Sometimes it's quite surprising. You can think it looks too dark, and then when you come to edit it, it's not as bad as you think. But anyway, really enjoying that project. Although, like I've spoken about before, I can't actually knit them while watching Strictly because I just go wrong on the pattern, just can't concentrate. So yeah, it tends to be my early morning knitting actually, when it's nice and quiet, and I'm usually the first awake. Generally wake up quite early naturally, and if I'm awake early enough, I will use the first sort of 40 minutes of the day just to do some quiet knitting, and they're what I tend to do because it's nice and quiet and I can concentrate on the pattern and preferably not go wrong. Are you a early bird or a night owl? I'm definitely an early bird. Ask me to do anything after 9 PM in the evening, you can forget it. I'm good for nothing. But I can be up at 5:30 sometimes, not always that early, and I could be straight on it. I often, you know, will do some of my work early in the morning, you know, my bag making and things like that, or, you know, if I've got a list of house duties, I call them, like, you know, paying bills or doing school letters, or just organising the diary, knowing what all the family are doing. I can do that first thing in the morning because that's when I'm at my best, definitely. But I know we're all different, and some people don't wake up till lunchtime, and but then they're up late at night. Like I say, I'm quite useless. Late at night, after 9 o'clock, I'm falling asleep on the sofa. The next project I'd like to share with you is my crochet blanket. I call it my collecting dust blanket because it was something I started back in 2016. I've been collecting 50-gram balls of merino DK yarn in all lots of different colours for ages actually, with the idea of making a lovely merino blanket. And I started making some squares, some crochet squares in 2016, but then put it to one side in a box under my bed and left it there for ages, and it was collecting dust on the lid on the top of the box, so that's why it's called the collecting dust blanket. But I've picked it up again, and here it is. You'll be able to see this much better than the socks, that's for sure. So this is it folded in half. See, might as well open it all up. Good feel of that. Oh, it looks great. I'm really happy with how that's looking. Yeah. I think I'm about halfway through the main body, just over halfway perhaps. I had different ideas of what I was going to do. I made these squares. I have written the stitch pattern out for this on my blog. I'll put a link direct to it when I write my show notes, which will be on my blog, which is www.betsymakes.blogspot.co.uk. But it is quite a basic traditional granny square. Starts off as a circle and then turns into a granny square, 6 rounds. So I'd made the coloured ones, that was what I was concentrating on to start with, and I had different ideas of what I was going to do. This idea of doing the checkerboard effect of the coloured square with the cream square came later. So I'm using the join as you go method, and so basically the last round of each cream square I'm joining it with a slip stitch to all the squares that sit round it. And that's why I've got these dangly bits here. Can you see these ones dangling at the bottom? Because they have to be on there because they need to be joined to the square above it. And then I will put a square in there. Yeah, so I'm really happy with this. Still got quite a lot of these squares that I keep on these stitch holders. I've still got quite a lot of these to put in. It's surprisingly heavy as well. Surprisingly heavy. Let me show you the... No, I won't actually. I won't show you the... Yes, I will. Be quick because it's a bit crinkly. This is... Oops. This is the Drops Merino Extra Fine that I'm using for my joining colour, which is a merino yarn in the DK weight. This is colour 01. I've got a feeling, I've got 3 balls left in the bag here, this one and 2 others, but I've got a feeling I will have to order some more. I'll see how I get on with that. I get my Drops yarn from Purple Sheep Yarns. I think you can get Drops from Wool Warehouse, and probably can get it from all sorts of places actually, the general online retailers and whatnot. It's quite widely available, I would say. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? Now this is, I'm more likely to be crocheting this in the evening because it's a lot easier. It's not as tricky as the socks, the chevron socks are not tricky. It's not a difficult pattern. It's a lovely pattern. It's just that I can't do watching telly and counting of my stitches at the same time. But this I can, and yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to do border wise yet. I've still got a lot of joining to do, so I don't have to worry too much at this stage. But I definitely want to use up all all the yarn I've got a big bag of, still got some bits down there, but this bag's full of all the different colours. Some beautiful pink and duck egg, teal, and there's sort of like a periwinkle bluey lilac-y colour. So I do think I will try and use every scrap of yarn I've got in the border, which might mean it being quite a scrappy effect to it, but that's fine. So yeah, that's how I'm getting along with my collecting dust blanket. And you'll be pleased to know that it's not collecting dust so much now, because I'm picking it up quite frequently and working on it, perhaps not every single day, but almost every day, so it doesn't get the chance to collect dust. Oh, I love it, look. I just want to keep holding it up and admiring it. So yeah, I'm very, 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 very pleased with that project. And the last thing I'm going to show you is something that I only started yesterday. Yesterday was a manic day. Because I'd done my shop update on Friday evening, I was up early. Like I say, I'm quite happy to be up early, packing my orders, ready to take up to the post office first thing Saturday morning. Then I went to get some petrol and picked up some groceries from the co-op. And came home, got my little girl ready for her show. I then had to go to work. As I said, I had a very embarrassing moment during my working day. So yeah, I was at work for a good few hours, and then I came home and I had a very quick bite to eat. I had half an hour before I had to leave again with Mia, another one of my daughters, to go to watch the show. As I said, I watched it last night, and it's in Milton Keynes, which is about half an hour's drive from where I actually live. So yeah, in amongst all that, I did manage to cast on my Advent socks, which the idea is to knit a bit on them each day from the 1st of December through to the 24th of December, with the idea to get them finished on the 24th of December, so that you've got a nice lovely pair of socks to wear on Christmas Day. Oh, excuse me. Right. So this yarn is some of my little Smile base that I dye. It's a merino silk blend. It's beautiful in winter colourway, which is what I've done for this Christmassy season. You can see a lovely hand wound ball there. With my chevron socks, I do tend to knit them both at the same time. I haven't got enough needles to do that, unless of course I was going to do DPNs, which but I decided to do Magic Loop anyway. And so I haven't got that far with these. I've only made the rib, which is a 1x1 twisted rib, which is beautiful. Pattern that I'm using is the Rita socks, and it's designed by Danny, who's Little Bobbins, and the lovely Natalie, who is Dotty About Crochet, that's her username. She gifted me this pattern for my birthday, and it's very sweet. It's a beautiful pattern. I didn't print the front page off, but I have got a photo here that I can, if you can see that, you can see it's got some lovely diamond stitch pattern there. It's really pretty, and this is the first pattern I have of Danny's, So I'm really looking forward to getting into working that pattern up. So yeah, so I have completed the 15 rows of the twisted rib. This is so soft, this yarn. Like I say, it's a merino silk blend. Oh, it's beautiful. It feels so lovely. And the supplier sells it as a sock yarn, even though it hasn't got any nylon in. But the silk is the luxurious version of nylon. So I'm really looking forward to having a beautiful soft pair of socks to put on my feet on Christmas Day. Well, like I say, I'm looking forward to getting into working the pretty stitch pattern. I've got my ChiaoGoo red lace circular needles. I've got the little mini needles, these are interchangeable, and an incredibly long cable. I really don't think I need this long cable on here, so I might change it actually to a shorter one. But my other ones are on the chevron socks, so they need to be on there for a bit. I just like the ChiaoGoo red lace because of the cable. When I first started to work magic loop as opposed to using DPNs, I did learn to knit socks on DPNs and I was quite happy. But I thought, oh, I'll have a go at the magic loop method, and I did it, but I didn't get on really well. I wasn't that taken by it, but I think the reason was because the needles I was using, or particularly the cable, on various different types and brands of needles, I found thick and a bit cumbersome. But when I discovered these ChiaoGoo red lace, the cable is so flexible and fine, it's lovely. So I'm a bit of a convert now to the magic loop method because these needles are lovely to work with. And yeah, you can get these short little ones, or obviously, let me show you the longer ones. How much longer are they? 2.25, like I say, with the socks I tend to knit 2.25. Whether you'll be able to see that or not, I don't know, but these ones are longer, but these little ones are fine. But like I said, I've got the little needle and a long cable. So that's where I'm up to with all my personal projects. I have got to cast on another pair of socks for a Christmas present. The chevron socks are for Sophie, that's her Christmas present, and she's asked me to knit a pair of socks for her boyfriend. So that's something I need to think about starting. Also, last year I started to crochet some characters, some small characters for the nativity scene for my little girl, little Lena, and with the intention of making more characters throughout the year ready for now. I haven't done any more. And what I did, I'm looking over there because that's the box of them. Shall I get them? Do you want to see them? Okay. So we've got so far Joseph and Mary. There's Mary, curly hair. We've got the donkey. Oh, I like donkey. Donkey's so cute. And we've got baby Jesus in a manger. Baby Jesus fast asleep. Baby Jesus in the manger. It's quite nice because Mary, this is what little Lena does, Mary can hold baby Jesus as well. He's quite a big baby. Yeah, he's quite a big baby. So they're the characters I've done so far. Now, because I actually wasn't planning on talking about this podcast, I haven't got the details of the pattern in my head. So I will, if you did want to know, I will put the details in the show notes, and of course visit the project page on Ravelry. I divided it up into, there'll be several different project pages rather than, because there's quite a lot of characters. There's still the angel to do, which I'm under instruction by little Lena Jane to make that next. There's a camel, the 3 wise men, a shepherd and a little sheep. Yep, so still quite a lot to do. And she keeps asking me, when are you going to finish? When are you going to... She calls it knitting, even though that is amigurumi crochet. He's really cute, isn't he, little Joseph? So, yeah. And I bought this fabric as well. I haven't done anything with this as well, but I intend to make a bag to keep them all in. And it's got the nativity scene on there. I've had this since last year. Don't rush me. So yeah, I'm going to make a lovely drawstring bag to keep all the characters in for her, and I will make the other characters, honestly, well, I'm going to have to anyway, because she keeps asking for them. So she's not going to rest until I get them done. At least she wants the angel anyway. So I'll start with the angel and work my way through. So that's another thing I need to get done. So yeah, it's all good fun. Lots of bits and pieces to be keeping me out of trouble. And I hope you are enjoying your craft time as well. I do hope the light's been okay for you. I know it's not ideal, not having the natural light, which I do prefer to record in the daytime, but I guess it's better than nothing, and so I hope it's been okay for you. So thanks ever so much for joining me. Thanks for subscribing, because I know I've got a lot of new subscribers just lately. And I really appreciate you subscribing to me and liking my podcast. It's really nice to be able to share my makes with you. So thanks ever so much, and I'll see you soon. Take care.